The time is now 5:48. Good evening and welcome to the December 17th, 2025 Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting. I am Zakia Goins-McCants, Committee Chair and District 8 Board Member. It brings me great pleasure to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. For those unable to observe now, the meeting is being recorded and will be available for later viewing on the PGCPS YouTube channel. Ms. Conley, please call the roll.
Board Member Zakia Goins-McCants.
Present.
Board Member Robin Brown.
Here.
Board Member Ari Ajike.
Present.
Board Member Lolita Walker. Board Member Tiffany Anderful. Chair Jackson. We have 3 board members present.
Thank you, Ms. Conley. With a quorum present, the Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting will come to order. If there are no objections, the committee shall adopt the December 17th, 2025 meeting agenda. There being no objections, the December 17th, 2025 meeting agenda is adopted. If there are no corrections, the November 12th, 2025 meeting minutes shall be approved as distributed. There being no corrections, the minutes are approved. We have one registered public comment speaker this evening. Ms. Catherine Sutton, Duval High School, school nurse position change. Do we
Oh,
have Miss?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. So my name's Catherine Sutton. I'm a PGCPS school nurse. I've worked in this position since October of 2016. I'm also a PGCPS parent, and I want to make sure our tax dollars are used wisely. There are talks of switching school nurses to 11-month positions. I understand that the school system loses a lot of potential money due to immunization noncompliance. Based on my almost 10 years as a school nurse, I don't think we need to work more months to keep immunization noncompliance numbers down. Also, the majority of PGCPS nurses do not want to make this drastic schedule change. In the most recent survey of PGCPS school nurses, only 30% of the 193 who responded said yes, they want to make that switch. I believe this change will interfere with retention, recruitment, and job satisfaction. Many nurses have said that they would retire or consider finding employment elsewhere if they had to work during the summer. Having to recruit new nurses, train them, and possibly depend on agency nurses could become a very arduous undertaking. I acknowledge that I don't fully understand the vast task of managing a budget for the school system of our size, but I do want to share some perspective for you all to consider. Here are a few of my ideas. Number one, utilize nurses already in the 11-month position role and summer school nurses. The initial noncompliance notifications can be done throughout the school year. Follow-ups can be done over the summer by the already allotted 11-month nurses and summer school nurses. My understanding is that currently summer school nurses are paid by the specific program that they are covering, so they do not work on immunizations. Many summer school nurses tell me that the flow of students to the nurse's office is slow over the summer. So they would have availability to work on immunizations if the reimbursement aspect could be figured out. Maybe half of their pay comes from the specific program they're working, and the other half could come from the budget being considered for this switch of all school nurses. Number two, make sure administration and principals keep up with excluding noncompliant students all school year. Immunization noncompliance is a revolving door because even once a student becomes compliant, they may show up on the list down the road for follow-up or future dose. We have this happen often in the high school setting for our students who are new to the country and they are on catch-up immunization schedules. It's a very important step of the process that administration and principals continue to exclude students all school year, even in May and June, so that the families realize it is a serious need that has to be addressed. I often find that people get more relaxed about immunization noncompliance as the school year goes on, which results in some students remaining on the immunization noncompliance list for months and then eventually even rolling over into the next school year. Staying on top of this issue all year will lessen the large push that is needed in August and September. These specific ideas may not work as outlined, but Dr. Sean Joseph keeps saying we need to get creative. This is about working smarter, not just spending money unnecessarily. I think collaboration and true communication can help us achieve our goals together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sutton. The chair now recognizes Dr. Coleman, Chief Operations Officer for the Office of Alternative Infrastructure Planning and Development update.
Thank you, and good evening, board committee chair, Goins and McCants, members of the board, and community stakeholders. The Office of Alternative Infrastructure Planning and Development, or OAIPD, is responsible for the construction, delivery, and maintenance of schools built through the Public-Private Partnership, or P3 model. These schools are being built on an accelerated schedule and will be maintained over the next 30 years through a comprehensive maintenance contract. Through phase one of the P3 program, 6 schools have been delivered and are currently in use. Under phase two, the school district is on track to deliver 8 more schools by fall 2028. At this time, the OAIPD director, Mr. Matlock, will provide a program update for both phases 1 and 2.
Good evening, board members. Uh, do you all have my presentation? Could you put it up?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Mhm. So what I'm going to do is give you a brief overview of the activities happening in both phase one and phase two. And There are a number of activities happening in phase one, even though it's post-construction. There are a number of items going on. We're going to talk about one, solar panel installation, two, the school-based health clinics, and three, the changes in ownership of PGECP. So,
Ms. Conley, it looks like you're sharing your screen, but it's blank to us. We can't, it's just a black screen. I'm not sure. Ms. Conley, did you hear that?
Yes, I'm sorry, my screen is freezing, but yes, I did hear you. I'm gonna try to stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay, thank you.
mhm. Oh, there we are. So if you will just advance down to the fourth slide, please. Thank you. So the solar panel installation is part of our CCAP. It's going quite well right now. We have we're currently installing panels on all six of the phase one schools. The first two schools will receive energy over the winter break. The remaining four schools will be ready for energizing by spring. The Resiliency Office will provide data so that we can demonstrate the energy savings. And this is all in compliance with our climate change action plan. In addition, this is going to result in some grant money coming back to the system as a result of this, and potentially some tax credits. So that's one thing that we're very excited about. Next, we have, if you can move on to the next slide, we have the school-based health clinics, right? So right now, each of the phase one schools were built with a school-based health clinic designed for it. They're roughly about 3,000 square feet. They have equipment, examination rooms, medical storage space, office and conference room space. And the Children's National Medical Center has been selected to operate the clinics. We expect that the clinics to start operating in the following manner. Walker Mill will open in January 2026, followed in March by Sonia Sotomayor, and then in May, Drew Freeman, Kenmore, Hyattsville, and Colin Powell. So they all should be in operation by the end of 2026. And they will be being, again, operated by Children's National Medical Center. Next slide, please. So our partner in phase one is PGEC ECP, or Prince George's County Educational Community Partners. And in late October, they informed us of their intentions or their desire to change its ownership group. Fengate and Gilbane will be transferring their ownership interests to another entity, BBGI. Now, none of PGCECP's obligations will change as a result of this to the ownership transfer, so there'll be no changes in the way the contract operates. There'll be no changes in obligations. There'll be no changes to any of the core elements of the deal, just the ownership of the equity. Before this transfer can occur, though, PGCPS, through the steering committee, must grant consent to the change in the ownership group. So, and that's per the project agreement. So PGCP has basically, PGCPS has gone out and we brought in our consultants, our legal consultants and our financial consultants, and they are digging into BGGI and the contracts between the two entities, and basically like their credit worthiness, all the evaluations that we did for Gilbane and Fengate prior to entering into the agreement. So far, after the initial due diligence results have shown no red flags, nothing that we could actually raise to object to a consent. The steering committee, though, still has an opportunity to review the information. We presented at our last steering committee meeting earlier this month, and we've scheduled a meeting for January 6, 2026 to vote on to advance the consent. So that's when it'll occur. So next slide, please. So phase two construction is underway, very much so. We're very excited. And if you go to the next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. We're already there. Oh, I'm sorry. So the progress on the construction, Margaret Brent, Templeton, Robert Frost, with the work including site grading and utility installation, foundation work, and structural steel deliveries. We're conforming drawing sets to have been completed and delivered for all three initial school projects. We are at 95% design development packages for Brandywine, K-8, Hyattsville Elementary School, and Fairwood Elementary Schools, with rough grading permits having been issued at Fairwood, Brandywine, and Fairwood's permit accepted. Coordination is ongoing with DPI and the scheduled site pre-construction meetings. There are several key activities reaching completion, and others advancing toward major project milestones. Completed work included exterior framing, slab, metalwork. And this is at Margaret Brent. Deck concrete, geothermal wells, underground medical, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, structural steel installation, site grading, staircase installation, water gas line installation, skylight framing, and the placement of dedicated outdoor air systems or DOAS systems. Current effort includes installing brick veneer, completing the MEP, sprinkler rough ends, applying exterior sheathing and air barrier systems, installing roof installation and TPO, ongoing site grading, utility work, and as well as interior framing, windows, and door frame installations. Planned activities through March 2026 involve the curtain walls and the storefronts, interior drywall, finishing and drywall acoustic ceilings. So basically, we're enclosing the building completely and then setting up the interior spaces. Um, for Templeton is very much in a similar position. Construction's continued the progress this quarter. We finished the work that comprised the demolition of the existing building, concrete foundations, and waterproofing, sanitary water main. All that work has been done. We're currently construction teams are working again on exterior and interior framing, overhead MEP rough-ins, roofing installation of exterior sheathing, air barrier systems, installation of brick veneer, aluminum storefront systems, geothermal horizontal connections, retaining walls, washing gas service, and Pepco primary server are also in progress. Upcoming work through March 2026 will include construction of bioponds, site concrete placements, installation of metal panels, site electrical lighting, and wall and ceiling close-ins as the building moves further towards enclosure. That's Group A. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Robert Frost, K through 8, is hasn't topped out yet, but it's coming close to that. So this past quarter, the construction team completed asbestos abatement, interior demolition, and full raise of the entire existing of the older building. Rough and final grading, building foundations, phase 2A and 2B storm drain installation, below grade masonry, and relocation of the storm and sewer lines managed by WSSC were also completed. Geothermal well drilling with associated circuits, vaults, construction of concrete masonry units, CMU shafts in areas A and B and D. Slab on grade placements, some and in the same areas were all completed as well. Current construction efforts are focused on the installation of the 88 Fifth Avenue water line, the phase 3 site utilities, the underground MEP systems, in the kitchen, structural steel installation across all areas, as you can see here. Slab on metal deck placements, MEP rough-ins, and interior, exterior framing and sheathing. Looking ahead, upcoming activities through March 2026 are set further into transition to project enclosures, site development with planned work, including slab on grade in the kitchen, roofing, air barrier installation, parking lot site work, site concrete brick veneer, and the installation of windows and storefront systems. The next slide is Fairwood Elementary, which is not quite as far along. We have site grading and underground MEP rough-ins in Area A, where completed markings and keystone milestones for earlier foundation work. Ongoing efforts include construction of the CMU air stair towers and continuing MEP rough-ins in Area B, installing stormwater and sanitary utilities, pouring and concrete building construction activities at the Fairwood Elementary School progressed steadily in this quarter. The site and grading and underground MEP rough-ins in the Area A were completed, marked by key milestones for early foundation work. Ongoing efforts include construction of the CMU stair towers, continuing MEP rough-ins. Looking ahead, planned activities through March 2026 include placing concrete footings and the slab on metal deck, erecting structural steel, installing cold form metal framing, and completing remaining MEP rough-ins. Next slide, please. So Brandywine 3 through 8 school, the site building and pad was completed this quarter, all along with the installation of aggregate geopiers. Construction activities are currently in progress include building foundation work, low-grade CMU masonry, underground MEP slab-on-grade preparation, foundation waterproof erection of structural steel. Wet site utility work is also underway, supporting continued progress on core building system site and site infrastructure. Upcoming activities will include the erection of structural steel, the installation of cold form metal framing, and the installation of MEP rough ends. Work on geothermal wells, sheathing, and metal decks is also anticipated. Our last Group C schools, which are James Duckworth Elementary School and Spring Hill Lake Elementary, are approximately 95% through construction documents development. Demographic changes and site conditions have required some redesigns. Construction is scheduled to start summer of 2026. James Duckworth will move temporarily to Old Kenmore Middle School building, and Spring Hill Lake will temporarily move to the Old Greenbelt Middle School building. And so in addition to that, next slide, please. We've developed project planning committees for all our projects. These are committees that made up of PTA members, school administrators, staff, and in some cases students, and they meet on a regular basis to allow us to communicate, to ask questions, and to work on school-specific issues related to these buildings. We've also had town hall meetings which are quarterly virtual town hall meetings hosted by PEP through their community engagement teams, where we provide updates and information about the projects. Next slide, please. So the program is doing very well in other areas as well. We've gotten several awards and recognitions. The Blueprint Phase 2 program and PEP earned national recognition, receiving Proximo's North American Social Infrastructure Deal of the Year for 2024 and for its innovative financing model. PGS Blueprint Schools Phase 2 program was recognized as Best Social Infrastructure Project at the 2025 P3 Awards in October of 2025. The program included the largest taxable municipal bond financing for social infrastructure projects in North America, with opportunities for local residents to invest in directly. And that program will be rolling out, I believe, after the completion of the phase of the Group A schools. And in 2025, PEP received the Edward Kirkby Award at the A4LE Northeast Regional Conference for its high performance school delivery model through a public-private partnership. So those are some good things that are happening with the program, around the program. Next slide. So if there are any questions, I'm open to them now.
Board members, do we have any questions? We will start with Vice Chair Brown.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the update. I did have three questions, so hopefully I have enough time. My first one was about the school-based health clinics. How did you all choose them? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, are those community schools? Because I would think that they would have to be serviced first, but can you kind of give a little bit more detail on, I guess, how they were chosen?
So the community, the organization that's running them is under a contract with the county health department. So we don't actually run the clinics; they're run by the community health department by I guess statute. And they had thought they had a provider. At one point, they had multiple providers, but for some reason, the contracts didn't work out, and it took them a while. The school's been open now for almost 2 years or over
Mhm.
2 years. And so now they finally found a provider that met their requirements. And so they will be staffing the all six schools. Not
Okay,
counting some.
thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome. And then my second question was, when you talked about equity ownership on slide 7,
Yes, ma'am.
can you kind of explain a little bit when it comes to that? Because when I
Sure.
heard that, I was like, yes, the name is changing, but except for there's going to be equity ownership. So can you
So
kind of give a little bit more of an explanation on that?
Sure. So when you fund a P3, most of the funding for the initial capital investment is done through debt financing that the financial group takes out on their own. So they own, so let's say a
Mm,
million, if if, for example, if it was $100,000, let's say $75,000 of it will be debt financed, right? And then
hmm.
the equity owner has to contribute roughly 10 to 25% of that overall contribution. And as a result, their return on investment goes to the equity owner, and debt or interest is paid to the debt owner. So in this deal, Gilbane in the first phase one, Fengate and Gilbane were the equity owners. And what they want to do is, and the reason why they're chain swapping out is because the fund that they were using, they intended to transfer internally to themselves, but their regulators told them that they couldn't do it. So they had to put it on the market. So that's why it's going on to the market because they couldn't sell it back to themselves. And
Got it.
so the winning bidder, from what I understand, it was BBGI. They are a global P3 company. This is what they do as well. And they like operational side. They usually try to get in on deals after they're constructed, and which is what they're doing here. And so they will own then the equity ownership in the deal and will operate. The,
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Chair Goins McCants, I do have one more question, but I will yield for other members that might have questions.
You can have my time to answer the rest, to ask the rest of your questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My last question just was, do you have an update on Woodmore Elementary? Because that's another school that's being reconstructed and all the things, and that's also in my district. So can you kind of give me an update on the status?
Yeah, so they will be going to Fairwood once Fairwood is completed.
Got it.
And that, as I said before, that is one of the Group B schools, and it is right now they're getting most of the site work done. They're starting to put in the MEP work and the geothermal work. We've had a matter of fact, we just had one of our PPCs with them this past week with both the staff and the community. And I know there's been some issues about um, uh, some of the signage up blocking some site views for the drivers on a couple of roads, and we're working that out with them. But other than that, everything's moving quite well. It's on schedule, and they are, pouring the slabs and getting the MEP work done there. And so it'll be a little bit before you see structural steel. We should start seeing structural steel go up sometime between now and March.
Okay, and then how's the demolition for the old Woodmore building?
It's gone.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much.
Um, are there any more questions for first round? Seeing none, board members, are we interested in a second round? Thank you so much, Mr. Matlock. We
Yep.
will now move on to our chipmunk update. The chair once again recognizes Dr. Coleman.
Thank you, Board Member Goins McCants. So the Department of Transportation and Central Garage has been working diligently to transition our transportation system from the TransFinder routing system to the Bus Planner routing system, and from the StopFinder parent app to the Chipmunk parent app. This week, the transportation team will be transitioning our remaining bus lots, schools, and students into the Chipmunk application. This final group coming into the system means that all 85,000 plus students and families will have access to the Chipmunk app to track the location of their bus. We encourage all families utilizing transportation to download and utilize the Chipmunk app to give them ready access to timely bus information. Tonight, Director Baldwin will walk through the online resources that are available for parents and guardians so they know how to access and effectively use the Chipmunk app. At this time, I'll turn it over to Director Baldwin.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. And I am just going to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? Perfect. So thank you, um, Committee Chair Goins McCants, board members, for the opportunity to present. We have presented in October and last month just about the operational um, concepts of Bus Planner and Chipmunk. Tonight, we decided to just give a firsthand view of how parents can access the resources. We've tried to funnel them into one location, which is listed on our district website. As you can see here, where parents can just go to our district work website. You can use the search button to click on Chipmunk or find it in our banners as you come across the screen here. So from here, we arrive at the Chipmunk portal. And so this is a simple um, list of what the app will do, talks about our key features, uh, things that we are hoping our parents will benefit more from, the live map view, the ETA summary, the custom alerts. We do have now a very good video tutorial. It's about 3 minutes long, but we now have it in Spanish as well as in English. So we're hoping that helps to guide many of our families. We have information on our phased rollout. As you know, we started this process in September with phase one, where we rolled in our special education routes. And in November 17th, we started with our phase two with the comprehensive routes, in which we have spent from November 17th up until this week to roll out all 12 of our bus lots into the bus planner system, therefore being part of the Chipmunk app. And if there's questions, I'm going to just follow suit here uh, and see the bus lots along with the route numbers and the dates of when we roll this out. We are in the middle this week of rolling out the Douglas, Goddard, Bladensburg, and John Hanson bus lots. Information is available in for parents now downloading the Chipmunk app. Come back here. And so spend a little time just talking about how to access the Chipmunk app is very important, as you must have a parent view account in order to activate the Chipmunk app. And so in this portal, we have a great support for parents to understand if you have not set up your parent view account. Here is the site that gives you information about the why and the how to be able to set up your parent view account. And as we've said in the past, as you set up your parent view account, there's an email that you associate the Chipmunk app to, which is your parent view email. And so very important that once you download the Chipmunk app, you use your email that you created in parent view as your username. The password you can create yourself. And once that information has been entered successfully, your child's information should sync from parent view to the Chipmunk app seamlessly. So that has been very good so far with the parents who have subscribed to it. So we want our parents to make sure that you follow these steps to gain proper access to the Chipmunk app. Here, again, in the section, we talk about where you can download the Chipmunk app, the App Store or the Google Play Store. And then we have these user guides for our parents. And I'm just going to click here. They're very simple for those folks who need to read it, like directions, understand like a user manual. You can come here and go through all of the steps. They're written out for you with images to support. This guide not only is in English, but it is also in Spanish as well. We have, just to take a look, in our invitations and our appearances at town halls, some of our community events, we've been able to produce a brochure that is a quick one-sheeter that shares parents how to sign up. What are the steps they need to go through to download and access the Chipmunk app? And so these are some of the flyers that we've been able to use throughout this implementation. And again, it's been posted on the site to use, as well as the brochure here in Spanish and also in French. So very shouts out to our translation department and our PEAs that have been so successful in working to disseminate this information to parents and in our events that we have attended as well. So once you've downloaded the app, you're looking, of course, you're going to have questions. What has been helpful this year so far is that we have a Chipmunk help bot. This is more like a chat GPT for our families where you can come and ask questions. They have included the user guide, the rollout plan that you can use to help ask questions. So I'm going to do a little live demonstration here. Let's see, new chat. And I'm going to ask, when will my route 011 be in Chipmunk? Just as simple as that. 011 is associated with the Douglas lot, which came online this week. And so as you can see, 011 available went live December 15th. If you don't see it yet, here are steps that you can use. So we're hoping to, with this support, it adds to the information availability for our parents to use as a resource to gain more information about learning how the Chipmunk works and any other questions that they may have. And so all again, this is here on the webpage. This is actually the link if you want to use the link separate of accessing the webpage of all you can have. We do have the user guide again, and we have frequently asked questions. The good thing about the app is that you can send feedback. Once you've downloaded the app operating, there's a feedback button. So you can send feedback related to logging in, to the student assignment, to just, I don't like how the screen looks. You can put that type of feedback into the app. That information goes to the vendor, then comes to our transportation department, need be, to help resolve it as much as possible. So we are trying to make sure that we have proper avenues where parents can provide feedback, and then that feedback is assessed, reviewed, and appropriately addressed. So from here, these are all of the resources that are available for our parents to access the app. What I would like to do, it's a pleasure of the board, is actually just play the video and let you see what in the video, what I just covered within this page is all covered within the video.
Welcome. Today we are taking a quick tour of the Chipmunk Parent app, part of the Bus Planner ecosystem. This app is designed to make your mornings and afternoons easier by giving you real-time updates on your child's school transportation, from estimated arrival times to important alerts. Before getting started, make sure you've registered for your Synergy Parent View account. You'll need a few details handy: your email address and phone number, your child's student ID, birth date, school name, and street address. Once that's done, head to the App Store on your iPhone or the Google Play Store on Android and download the Chipmunk app on your mobile device. After installing, you'll be greeted with a short welcome message summarizing what the app can do. Tap Next, then read through the disclaimer and terms and conditions. Once you're ready, tap I agree to continue. Next, select your school district, in this case, Prince George's County Public Schools. From the drop-down menu, tap Next when you are ready. Select Create an Account and register with the same email address as your Parent View account. This is what will bring your child's details from Parent View to Chipmunk. Your password can be different from what you have on Parent View. Once you've logged in, all students linked to your account who are phased into Chipmunk will appear on the screen. Rest assured, only you can view your child's information. The app is designed with privacy in mind, so no one else can access your child's data. Tap the green checkmark to confirm and proceed. Welcome to the main page. You'll find 4 key sections: Map, ETA, My Students, Alerts. Let's start with the ETA screen, the heart of the app. Here, each student is listed with live bus tracking. For example, Olivia's bus just updated. It's 2 minutes away. And yes, you'll get a push notification even if the app isn't open. Once the stop is serviced, a timestamp is logged so you know exactly when the bus arrived. Tap on the map button in the bottom left to open the live map. You'll see the bus moving along its route, street by street, heading toward the stop. ETA updates live. 2 minutes becomes 1. And just like that, you know it's time to pick up your child outside. You can click on the arrow above to change which child's bus you are tracking. Want more details? Tap My Students and click on any child to view their school name, home, and alternate addresses, and full transportation schedule at the bottom. Next, the Alerts tab keeps you updated on route delays, cancellations, and school closures. Anything the transportation office shares with you. You'll also receive push notifications for new alerts. For example, Route F01 is delayed 15 to 30 minutes. Want to tailor the app to your needs? Tap the menu icon in the top left corner and go to Settings. Here, you can adjust how often the ETA refreshes, manage notifications, and more. If you have any questions or need support, feel free to contact the Transportation Office at 301-952-6570. From live bus tracking to real-time alerts, the Chipmunk Parent app gives you the info you need right when you need it. Thanks for joining us on this quick tour.
Okay. So with that being said, I just wanted to end with showing that video and just know that our team has worked hard. They continue to work hard with this transition. We've managed to transition 85,000 students into a new platform within 4 months. And that's a story to tell. So just keeping in mind that we're still integrating and implementing. So we're going to have some good days and we're going to have some not so good days. But the important part is that we're here. We need to hear the information, good or bad, so that we can make sure that we're moving in a positive manner moving forward. So
And
thank you.
Director, before we close out for questions, can you speak to, we know that the push notifications, the bus tracking, the alerts are going to consistently work, but we also know that there will be challenges with the ETA feature, and we need
Yes,
to call that out right from the outset. So can you talk about that a little bit?
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Coleman. So the ETA within the app happens when the bus crosses the geo fence that's set in the screen. And that's when you get those messages. Uh, we have to continually work with our drivers because this is a different request of them from the past, and being able to basically run the run sheet, run the run the way we need it listed on the sheet versus them being able to make on the fly adjustments. As we know, traffic happens in the county. And so some days it will work just fine. Some days it may not. And so as we work to improve, to be more efficient, utilizing the Chipmunk and the bus planner system, we may experience minor inconsistencies dealing with the ETA app, the ETA portion of it. Parents still will be able to see the bus and track the bus, But there may be some minor glitches when it comes to the ETA up front.
And they will also still receive the push notification that the bus is nearing the stop so that the parent can still, go out to the stop at the time if they want to meet the bus. Is that correct?
Correct,
All
correct. You
right.
will still
Very
see
good.
that. Usually, I think the max is about a 0.9, um, or 0.9 tenths of a mile to notify that. So it gives parents time. Uh, One last thing I did want to remember to mention as related to the Chipmunk app, if our families have their phones set up in a different language other than English, the app will automatically pick up that translation as well. So if my phone is in Spanish, when you download the app, it will come in Spanish. The wording will be in Spanish as well. So that's a good added push, just to help encourage our families to download and use this app. We want this to be the informational app, because we're working very hard to make sure the information that's there is true and accurate. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Director Baldwin. I see we already have a question, Vice Chair Brown.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair Goins McCants, and thank you so much, Chief Baldwin. This was an excellent presentation. I love how you navigated families through the website. That was extremely helpful. As I am a parent, I have not downloaded the app yet, and while you were doing it, I was going along with it. And so it's very user friendly. So thank you so much for doing that, because I think sometimes it can seem intimidating doing something new, implementing something new. And I did not realize you had to have the parent view um, credentials in order to do the chipmunk. And so this is definitely a speaking point that I'll make sure I tell my constituents about this, because this is extremely important. I did want to say I did not see my route on there in particular. When are we going to have a 100% rollout for everybody? Can you speak on that?
I will tell you, by the time we come back, start from the holiday break, everybody should be in the system. As we are
Perfect.
working this week, I think tomorrow is the true rollout where we're planning to have every route listed. We've not, when we rolled out the session, we've not done it on a Monday. It's been more of a Wednesday, Thursday,
Mhm.
and a soft rollout to allow our team and the vendor to really fact check those bus slots to ensure that we have consistency, and we soft roll it out. And so, if you're not seeing your particular route right now today, I
Mhm.
would check tomorrow. If not,
Okay.
give me a call
Okay.
so we can make sure that that's in place. And that's where it's been for the most part,
Mhm.
throughout this process. Mhm.
Excellent. Wonderful job. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. And I would like to also say that, beginning in the next semester, we are open to invitations from school PTOs. I know that we are on the agenda with some of our PEAs, and coming to their schools to speak on transportation. And
Mhm.
so it gives us an opportunity to meet our families. We have a great time when we can talk one-on-one, and we can talk
Mhm.
about the app, and see and download and talk about it together. Uh, those functions work well with us and for us, and it helps build some trust with our families, as we want to make sure that we have good trust with them. So
Excellent. Thank
thank you.
you.
I just have one quick follow-up question to that specific statement. Where should our PTSAs reach out if they would like to host you for a chipmunk session?
I would ask they reach out to their school principal, and their principal reach out to us in transportation.
Thank you so much, Director Baldwin and Chief Coleman. Board members, is there any interest in a second round? Seeing none. Thank you all again for your presentation. And we will now move on to our general budget update. And Chair recognizes Mrs. Howe, our Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you, Committee Chair Goins McCants. Good evening, everyone. Happy to have the opportunity to provide another update as we prepare to transition to the second phase of our budget process, which will continue once we return from winter break. I will turn it over to Director Smith, who will walk us through the latest updates around our process.
Thanks, Chief Howe. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Thumbs up. Can everybody see my screen okay? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to just kind of walk through the budget process and timeline upon return from break, what's supposed to happen, what are everyone's roles, responsibilities, and ultimately what is our end goal. So, screen. Sorry, my screen is stuck. Okay. I'm gonna reshare. Sorry, everyone. You gotta love it. Hold on. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so as you know, the superintendent is expected to present his proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 at the end of January. I believe it's January 22nd. Once that happens and the proposed budget is out there, there will be a budget book published and available for both board and public consumption. And at that point in time, we enter into the budget work session and public hearing phase of the budget. And so we have 3 work sessions, and there should be focus. We want to maximize efficiency. As you remember, I briefed publicly, I believe last OBAFA meeting, where we think we're going to be when it comes to projected revenue, as well as where we think we need to be as far as budgeted reductions. And so during the work sessions, that's a great opportunity to want to understand what changes happen to the budget. Public hearings usually immediately follow the work session. That's an opportunity to hear back from the community, try to understand their thoughts, their concerns. And the whole purpose of it, of course, is to not just get feedback, but ensure transparency in our process. And then ultimately, the amendments that may be proposed by the board will be in direct response to the community reaction to the gathered hearings. So as we keep going, the first step is just making sure that we orient the board to the budget. And we're trying to do a lot of that groundwork now, before even. So as we are going to the board meetings and presenting the budget, not just to the board, but also to the public, to get an idea of where we are, where we think we will be, and what we are actually doing, where we're thinking about reductions. All of this we're laying that groundwork prior to the release of the budget. There's also, once the budget is released, you'll have an opportunity to look at the budget book, see what changed year over year from fiscal year 27 to 26 to 27. We call it major change. So you'll see kind of the major change or the major changes. And then we enter step 3 is our work sessions. And this should be very specific, topic-based, understanding what is in our base budget and what changes are on top of that. If there are alternatives, any risks to the budget based off of any proposed reductions, understanding where our investments lie, how they align to any strategic priorities, things of that nature. Listening to the community voice is our next step through the public hearings. Listening to public testimonies, making sure that we're notating any concerns that are specific that our communities bring to the table. And then let them know how their feedback is incorporated or will be incorporated through any board amendments that come through. And then finally, we are going to ask the board to adopt their Board of Education requested budget for fiscal year 2027 on February 26th. So I just want to make sure that it's clear kind of where our works during the work sessions, what are the roles? And so for the board, we want to make sure that they understand the consequences of the funding decisions. They're focused primarily strategically and on impact. So our board members, we want to make sure that they understand, like I said, the funding decisions that were made, what trade-offs are happening, understand what our baseline costs truly are, what changes are on top of that baseline, and any potential risks. While at the same time, superintendent and his administration, we're focusing on the data, the implementation. We want to, all of which is collaborative and transparent. We can provide deep dives into certain topics depending on some of the questions that are coming through. It would be great, in order to understand the base budget, making sure that our chiefs really are prepared to present their budget or at least talk about the organizations at a high level. And again, we're trying to lay that groundwork early so that by the time we get into these work sessions, at least, our board members have a general idea and understanding of what changes were made. And they can just focus on deep diving into that and asking any questions that they may have. And then of course we're data driven. So questions that are asked, we will come to the next work session prepared to answer with data. Our goal is for a seamless process for these three work sessions that are all happening in February. So prior to the board adoption, at the end of February, we have 3 work sessions and public hearings, the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. And again, we would just want to provide the board and the public with multiple touch points and opportunities to really understand what we are proposing, what the superintendent is proposing in the 2027 budget. Again, our goal is transparency, clarity, which is a tough feat. Budget data is not the most interesting for everybody. It can be quite dense. It can be a lot. It can be a little technical at times. However, we are going to try our hardest to ensure that we are clear and concise in our delivery. And again, just meaningful engagement. There's key opportunities, I think, that's going to happen through what we're calling the requested cycle. So again, right now we're in the proposed cycle. Once the proposed budget is presented and out there for the public, we now transition into the requested cycle. And that will help us understand again and share where we are with revenue. And again, we're laying that groundwork early. So we have revenue. We've been talking about enrollment counts and how that impacts our revenue, blueprint, how that impacts our revenue as far as per pupil amounts, our expenditures, where we may have to revise some of our assumptions, adjust the base budget down based off of the environment that we are currently in, and any fiscal constraints on top of that. But we also want to make sure that we clearly outline and you understand, as the superintendent would say, accelerants. There's going to be investments that we need to make. It can't all just be cuts. So there's going to be both. That will all be outlined, and there will be an opportunity to really engage, not just with the administration, but also with the public. We want to make sure that, again, major changes are understood from the fiscal year 26 approved budget, which we are currently executing, the impact of the investments on our students, the schools, and our staff, and then any trade-offs. Because again, our new reality is that we don't have as much funding available to us as we once did. And there's a lot of reasons that has been outlined in a multitude of ways. And so we're going to have to do a lot of reimagining, but we want to do it in a safe, transparent way. And then again, engagements, several engagements. It's not just these work sessions that we have with the public. We have tomorrow night, there's the dollars and decisions. I think there's going to be multiple opportunities for the community to get involved. But at the same time, the board can ask us clarifying questions, and the administration will provide the board clear responses and answers to any questions that they may have. Hopefully, I'm trying to word my phrasing properly. I want to phrase my words properly. Our intention and our hope is that as we get into these work sessions, that in the public hearing, that the public, our schools, our staff, our board, the administration, we are all on the same page. That's the goal, that we can be on the same page. We may not always agree. There may be discussions, but we would like for everybody to at least be on the same page. No surprises, nothing, everything above board. That is our goal. That's our hope. And we've been working to make sure that there have been multiple touch points across the board with a lot of different sectors to make sure they understand why we're saying what we are saying, what it means, what impacts potentially it could have, but also what our goals are, what our strategic priorities are, that we're going to stay focused and our budget will be aligned to. So the outcome, of course, is to have a clear understanding of the FY27 budget, and make sure that the board feels confident and comfortable in order to adopt the budget at the end of February. Once that adoption happens, and then we have to transmit the budget over to the county by March 1st. So the adoption should happen during the board meeting of February 26th. Shortly thereafter, or on that date, we would like to, or the very next day, that Friday, we will transmit over to the county. And then ultimately, the county executive, she has to transmit the county's budget by, I think it's May 1st, I believe. But we are hoping that we will receive the governor's budget by mid-January. We'll get the preliminary state aid document, also mid-January, that will help bridge some of the gaps that we currently have. And so even through the requested budget cycle, we'll be able to incorporate some of the changes based on the final state aid or the preliminary state aid document. And that really, what we're waiting is for like the wealth equalization data, so that we understand what the local share versus the state share is going to be. And so just want to outline the timeline. January 22nd, superintendent's proposed budget presentation for fiscal year 2027, February 9th, 12th, and 19th. I think I got those dates right. You guys, please correct me if I got those wrong. I believe there's going to be 3 budget work sessions and public hearings. On February 26th, the board adoption and transmittal of the FY27 Board of Education requested budget. And then ultimately, the state and the county will finalize their budgets. And so at that point in time, that concludes my presentation, and I'm opening up for any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Director Smith. Board members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much, Chief Howell and Director Smith, for your presentation. The chair would like to invite members of the public to provide feedback Chair would like to invite members of the public to our Dollars and Decisions event tomorrow night at Sasser Administration Building at 6 p.m. Please be advised that our next virtual Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting will be on January 14th, 2026. Please continue to check the Prince George's County Board of Education website for meeting information and updates. Thank you all for the great discussions and for being here. To our viewers, thank you all for watching. There being no further business, the time is now 6:54 p.m. and the December 17th, 2025 Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting is adjourned.